Hello guys, Karmad Nab back with another review. Today we've got the Mark 8 Golf R. This one's fresh, only 700 miles on the clock. And today we're just going to find out, if you're already owning a Mark 7R, do you upgrade? Or if you not have bought a Golf R yet, do you choose the 7? Do you choose the 8? Which one do you go for? We also want to know, is this still a Golf underneath? Or have they completely changed the whole blueprint? But for now, let's talk about the exterior. The Golf R is the spiciest trim level you can get of the Golf, and it's also the most powerful. Now, obviously, it's got to live up to that with aggressive looks. Now, the front end of the Golf was the most controversial of the Mark 8. People really didn't like the unibrow LED bar. I think it looks all right. It's obviously grown on a lot of people now, but I still do think the Mark 7.5 is where the sweet spot is at in terms of aggressiveness, but still looking quite modern. Um, Obviously, we've got these nice LED DRLs as well, and this nice blue bra accent. I really like that. Nice little touch. Just to remind you again, it's a Golf R. Then obviously this is a standard model. This isn't a performance model, so we've got standard 18-inch wheels on a 225 section tire, and behind that we've got 4-pot calipers. Very good brakes, I must admit. Classic Golf R touch again. That's how you know you're seeing a Golf R. Is these nice little satin mirror caps. I really like them. People change them to carbon. I think you should always keep them just for that Golf R identity. Now, things I don't like, the side of the car has this really weird trim. I think it's sort of a homologation to the Mark 5, but it doesn't sit flush. Maybe it's to do with aerodynamics, but even the panel gap as well, it's just a bit weird. It just looks like I've dented the car. Now, as well, we've got R badges dotted around the road. Why didn't we not get one here? This just makes it look, again, like a normal Golf. And this is the problem with the R because, this car looks so nice. You know what I mean? It looks quite aggressive. Then you realize, oh, Golf make an R line of the 3-cylinder models, and now you look like you've just got your average commuter car. You literally can't tell unless you see the back end. Yeah, the back end of the Mark 8 Golf R is much more aggressive, thanks to these massive exhaust tips, which, by in fact, are real. Give me 1 second. Look, I'll get a stick just to prove. Got this lovely, nice log. Uh, whoa. Oh, proper. That's what you call, none of that fake stuff. Although, I say none of that fake stuff. This diffuser, let's be real, is not doing much. Same goes for this you know, little vortex roof spoiler. On the performance models, you do actually get an upgraded roof spoiler. That looks quite nice, but again, like I said, this is the standard model, but still not bad. We've got these really nice IQ light tail lights as well with the dynamic indicators. They do look quite nice. Yeah, in general, I'd say the best profile of the car is definitely the rear end. Since we're at the rear, might as well talk about the boot space. Um, normal tailgate, not electric, which is a bit of a shame for a 40 grand car. Exactly, 40 grand, guys, that you're paying for this. But yeah, boot space, ample loads of space, and the seats do fold down as well, so quite practical. But yeah, let's move on to the inside. Guys, you join me in the interior of the Mark 8R, and that's where things kind of let it down. Let's start off with the light switches. Now, with the light switches, the actual usability of them, they're fine. They're not too bad, but I just don't understand. First of all, why it's all touchscreen and why they've made the defroster settings on there as well. Everyone knows it's universally meant to be here. They've tried to be quirky, put it there. It just doesn't work. Just don't do that. Keep it normal. Keep it simple. The actual virtual cockpit as well, it's quite nice. Nice little display. You can display various bits of information. It's not the biggest, I would admit. Again, Audi's going to be better for something like that, the Audi S3. But yeah, it's not too bad. My only gripe with it is the fuel gauge. The system in this is you can't really determine what kind of fuel level you're on. It obviously tells you how many miles, but it just shows you a bar. You never see an actual physical gauge. That's pretty sucked. And then the worst part of all are these whole touchscreen fascination with the Mark 8R. I think that's what really lets it down. We've got it on the steering wheel. And guys, when you're driving along, every Mark 8R owner knows this. They're going to be turning on heated steering wheel and this and that on the spirited drive. It's just not on. We've got these nice little paddles, but again, plastic in a 40k car. It's not the best. It may be acceptable in a GTI, but in the R, we should have got some aluminium. But I'm glad that they are extended and well within reach. That's quite nice. Definitely improvement from before. Now, the MIB system. More like mid. Yeah, let's be honest, guys, because the actual interface itself is quite smooth. It's quite nice. but you really do have to spend a week with it just to get sort of adjusted to it. It's not as bad as the reviews say online. You can get used to it. You know, you can live with it. It is a smooth system, but yeah, there is just little stuff like, example, I want to add my CarPlay to the shortcut menu here, but for some reason they only let me add whether I want to turn off Bluetooth or not. There's just something like that they can easily add, just a little touch that they should have done. But at least the shortcut menu is literally what kind of saves the system. Otherwise, a lot of the stuff is menu integrated, and you can't really do that whilst driving. Like, example, turning the ESC off. But other than that, it's not too bad. We got a little toggle here for the gear selector. A lot of manufacturers are doing this. It's only annoying for someone like me that wants to go sideways. So majority of people are not going to mind that. In terms of storage space, it's not bad. Again, Golf, so it is quite practical. It's still a Golf at heart. So we've got decent door bins. We've got cup holders here that can tighten around the clasp of the cup. We've also got a wireless charging pad here, but it doesn't seem to work. Again, it's just this whole concept of focusing on tech and things that can go wrong. That's what's wrong with the Mark 8R. And a classic example of this is meant to be these light touch lights. Guys, you can literally hear the plastics crying for help as I squeeze so hard just to turn them on. And literally look, they're so, you know what I mean? Just why complicate things? Just leave things a button. Because why? Look at the door switches. These have been the same since the bloody Mark 5. Yeah, but am I complaining? No, because it's not. If it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? But that's the front of the interior. Obviously, driving position as well. These seats are nice. These are bucket seats, but my only gripe with them is you do sit a tad bit higher than what I'd normally like to. I'd still like to be a bit low, and as well because it's got the fixed sort of bucket, no adjustable headrest. You do find yourself driving with no neck support. You do want to kind of lean back, and you just don't get that with these. So 40 grand doesn't seem to be buying you too much so far with the Mark 8. So where's your money really going? Well, it's going under here with the 2-litre E8. Wow, there's no bonnet strut. Guess I'm gonna have to call my assistant, who's not included with that 40 grand, by the way. Okay, let's get this bonnet strut, power poverty, and thank God this guy's not included with that 40k. Bloody lift it up more higher, man. Now let it down. Gosh, sorry about that, guys. Under here, you've got the 2-litre 4-cylinder TFSI engine. This is the E8 888, very common. It's been running since 2007. Obviously, it's been revised and refined, and this version makes 320 brake horsepower and 420 newton meters of torque. That's paired with a 7-speed DSG gearbox. Classic DSG. Everyone loves the response. There's no manual option available in the UK for the Mark 8 Golf R. Now, interestingly, this drivetrain, is actually 10 brake more than the S3. Which, by the way, if you click on my reviews playlist, you'll be able to watch a review on the 8YS3. But yeah, it's interesting how they're marketing the Golf R to be that league ahead of the S3 now, rather than being level playing fields. So let's see if it really is more superior than an S3. So, is the Golf R still a Golf? Well, to find that out, we're in Comfort. To adjust the driving modes, you got a nice little. I'll give them that. They gave the button. They gave the button in the middle, which is nice. So yeah, I've just got everything laxed off in Comfort. Steering, throttle, and one thing is nice. It doesn't really have an eco mode, but Comfort is its eco mode, demonstrated by the E on the dash. And yeah, obviously, as I said, this car is not a performance model, so that means it doesn't get the adaptive dampers. Now, I would recommend that because for comfort wise, the ride is a little choppy. It just seems to just be a little bit fidgety over stuff like drain covers, etc. But yeah, in terms of the DSG box and the drivetrain, they're quite smooth, quite refined. The one thing I like as well, it has a coasting feature, so you just lay off the gas and you can literally just coast nice to junctions as well. you know, save a bit of fuel. But speaking of fuel, guys, that is my gripe with the Mark 8R as well. You're not even on it and you just see the range dropping. For example, when I picked up the car, you know, shout out to Triple S Claims, by the way, the sponsors of today's video. So if you do actually get into a ding, give them a ring. They're the ones that supplied this car. But yeah, as I was saying, when I picked the car up from them, the range was, it dropped by 20 miles and I'd only done 8, and that was around the city, stop start, just normal. That's not really acceptable in, you know, a 2-litre petrol hatchback. You know, a car that's meant to be daily driven, you know, meant to be still good on fuel. You know, it might be a performance model, but at the same time, guys, Golf R's, they're meant to be, especially when people are going to be financing them monthly, they're still meant to be relatively affordable. But yeah, one thing as well, tells you to like take your foot off the accelerator, just like, you know, just normal eco mode sort of tips, even though it technically isn't called eco mode. Now, yeah, as you can see, ride's quite fidgety. The controls, now obviously once you got your Apple CarPlay booted up, it's a nice screen to look at. You know, it's not too low, it's not too high, it's perfect. And then you got surrounded by ambient lighting, so city night driving would be nice in this, don't get me wrong. Steering wheel's nice and light as well. Visibility is quite good. They've given us glass in the B pillars, which is always quite nice. You know, that means that the blind spot isn't that deep. We also got blind spot assist mirrors anyway, standard. So yeah, but one thing, guys, 40 grand Golf, yeah, no heated seats standard, but they're giving us a heated steering. How does that make sense? Come on, guys, that doesn't make sense at all. You know, this, like, that's what I don't understand. The car is a lot of money, but it's not exactly the most luxurious thing to use as a daily, you know. But that's not what the Golf R is about. So what is the Golf R really about? Let me show you. So guys, what's the Mark 8R really about? As you can see, she's playful. Now, E8 AAA, obviously we're very used to it. It loves to rev out. Really love that drivetrain. Honestly, you know, for a 4-cylinder, it's still quite punchy. Mid-range torque is there, and yet it doesn't flatline out. You know, it still revs to like well beyond 6k. You know, really impressive drivetrain. Obviously, with the revised map that they put on these, now it's making 320 brake, 420 newton meters. Certainly, I feel like it's packing more, I'll be honest. You know, and still at this power level, I don't think it's overwhelming the chassis at all. You know, this car isn't spec'd with the dampers. There are on the performance model, and I can't lie, it does need them. You know, the car does fidget about over large crests and stuff. But one thing, you know, despite that being a bad thing, this new diff, guys, is different gravy. I'm telling you now, this new diff, BMW have cracked the code on it. VW, sorry. You know, it's just, I said BMW, why? Because they're quite playful. Honestly, I'm very surprised that I'm in a Volkswagen Golf, bear in mind, guys, and I can pull certain angles out of corners. That is absolutely crazy to say. You know, it just goes to show how far technology has come. It's honestly very, very impressive. What's also impressive, and again quite usual, is that 7-speed DSG, how quick it is to shift. But again, not a performance model, so that means it will upshift automatically, unfortunately. Now, speaking of the performance model, what that gets you is different driving modes. It gets you drift mode and it gets you Nürburgring mode. Now, drift mode, these share the same diff, so the hardware is the same. However, it's a matter of software. And I will say, when you do slide this car, when you try and, you know, get a bit of angle on it, the drift mode probably will make it a bit more consistent. I haven't tried one yet, but because what I get from this car is different ratios. Different ratios. So, you know, you come into a corner, it might give you 60% to the rear. Then you come into that same corner again, and it might give you 50%. So there is that inconsistency, you know, which isn't ideal when you're, you know, sort of going down your favorite B road or whatever, and you want to get a bit of sideways action. Admittedly, not everyone is going to be doing that, but it's just nice to know that in a Golf R, yes, an R, just nice to know that we can actually have a little bit of fun, and it's not just point to shoot. That's what really impresses me about the Mark 8R compared to the Mark 7. Don't get me wrong, the Mark 7R you can still play with a bit of Scandi flick or whatever, but this you can literally power oversteer with. It's that level of adjustability. And what that does is it's widening its reach. You know, someone like me would never consider a point to shoot kind of car, but honestly, after driving this and seeing how responsive that diff is and how adjustable it is, guys, I would not mind having this for a little while, I'll be honest. Brakes as well, they're quite good. 4-pot calipers up front, they certainly pack a punch, and they don't tend to fade as well, which is quite nice. Obviously engine as well, sound wise it's not all that dramatic, but at the end of the day, is it VW's fault? Not really. With all these emissions, we should be grateful that we've got a Golf R in the first place and not some electric piece of turd. I'm very impressed by the Volkswagen Golf R, and I think you guys will definitely be as well. Yeah, my opinions are just get the performance pack, you might as well. It will come with the dampers, and it will come with the fancy modes, Nürburgring mode as well. I think it sort of puts it in a sort of time attack mode, so you get, you know, ferocious throttle response, gear change, etc. And just those software, any sort of lag out. In terms of turbo lag, obviously, like I said, the A888 is quite torquey low end, so until you get to that turbo threshold, you know, very responsive. Oh, we even got a few pops there. So despite being an OPF car, you know, it's still decently alright. Just manoeuvring as well, decently. It's performed alright. Again, this is what I love about Golf. I understand everyone and your nan has one, but you can't blame them. You know, it's a very manoeuvrable car, easy to place, good size, still spacious. You know, what more can you really want from a car? You know, and it can still do this. Oh, what a car, guys! What a car! But yeah, that's enough of me yapping. I'll throw in some more driving clips, and we'll reach on to the conclusion. So guys, what's my overall verdict on the Mark 8 Golf R? Well, it's definitely no slouch. It's a Golf R that's finally keeping you a little bit on your toes. I'm very impressed by the drivetrain. It's unfortunate that the interior and the lack of quality lets it a bit down. But let's hope, let's try beg Volkswagen for the 8.5 where they've resolved those issues, because then you're going to have a compelling example of a car. If you like today's video, then please like, share and subscribe. Comment down below what you'd like to see next. But for now, I've been Carmad now.